question, man. I'm I'm throwing this question out there because I see a lot of people talking about weird stuff. Sorry, I'm at work. I'm one of those people where I work all the time. But the thing I would like to ask people is if you know what real shadow work is. I hear these people that they go to college and they've they have this Jungian idea of what the philosophical idea of what shadow work is. Well, what I really wanted to do was ask if you knew in your heart what shadow work really is. And I think it's very important. I think one of the most important things that you can do is shadow work. And the reason I say that is because the older you get, the more you understand the reality of what shadow work really is. And I'd like to just break it down into simple terms. Sorry. See my hands? They're dirty from work. That's shadow work. Kind of. Um, I'm a Generation X guy, and the weird part about being a Generation X guy is that we were out in the world. We did a lot of things by just being out in the world. Our parents just let us loose. Yes, we did drink from hoses. Yes, we were crazy kids. There was a lot of stuff. That Generation X was just wild. I think one of the things that people don't realize is that we were actually out socializing. We were, man, I think that's a big thing that nobody understands is that we were socializing all the time. We were locked out of our houses. We would go to school and then we got sent home. For home was usually locked up, and then we had to go and uh, be out in the world. But the socializing thing, I think, is the big picture that people don't really understand or get. And this is where you can, I guess, get a grip on why we as Generation X have so many stories. We got to be out there and talk and just socialize. We were the backyard barbecue kids. We were insane because we were left alone. But I think the main point that I really wanted to get down to was people not understanding what their shadow work is. And I wanted to at least give people some idea of the reality of what it is. There's a lot of people that go to college and I guess I understand. You went to college, that's cool. There's we meaning me, Generation X, got our college education on the streets, and I understand where Jung came from and talking about shadow work, but nobody really takes the time to just stop and think, what is your shadow? It's that idea of you that is placed behind you. What does that really mean? It's pretty simple, and I want you to comprehend this, and I'll do this via a story. When I was younger, which is, 2 years, Um, I had friends, and as guys, we always see women, and all of us say, "Ooh, look at that chick. That chick's hot." As we're talking amongst ourselves, and I was one of those guys that I would say, "Ooh, that check that chick out." And my friends would look at me and say, no." For my friends, I understood what they were talking about, where they would see a good-looking woman, and I would see what they're talking about, but they would never ever agree with me when I said, "Look at that chick, she's beautiful." And one time, a guy said to me, he said, "Dude, I don't get what you're talking about. What is it about this girl that you think is good looking? Because none of us get it." And I, for me, I'm going, "What are you talking about? This girl's beautiful. What are you crazy?" And I didn't realize at the time that that sat in the back of my mind, and I thought, I'm not part of this crowd, but I have to answer that question. What is it about this girl that I thought was beautiful? And so I let it go, I let it go, I let it go. And then one night I was like, why is it every time that, I mean, I understood that they found different girls beautiful. They didn't understand that I saw other girls beautiful. And it kind of ate at me, ate at me, and ate at me. And I'm like, okay, well, all right, let me break this down. And so the shadow work for a person is having that question asked of you first, but for you to take it seriously and look behind you. When what gave you that gave so in my case, what gave me that grip on finding other girls attractive. So I had to break it down, and I had to think about it. And it started with what what were the girls, what did they look like that I was pointing out? And one, they were super white, like super white. And they it was like that goth look, super white, dark hair. There was no, it wasn't the tattoos or anything like that. Um, the dark eyes or the booming blue eyes, the dark clothing. And none of my friends really thought that that was attractive. Now, I did, and for me, that was normal, and it should be normal because of how things were imprinted on me. But I didn't understand it until I thought about it one day. And I thought, why do I find these girls attractive? And here's the shadow work. And it's going to sound dumb because stories are always dumb. Everything is stupid when it comes to life. And when people say, is it nature or is it nurture? It's everything. Uh, but if you could get this one thing into your head as shadow work and you do it yourself, you can go backwards and make sense of a lot of things. Back in the day, because I'm Generation X, there was Macabre Sunday. And Elvira had a show where she would show B movies and lay on a couch with her white skin, her dark hair, and she was funny about it. And I still to this day love B movies because of it. But they were B horror movies, and I still love them to this day. Most likely because that imprint of what my shadow was. So when I was younger, I saw this woman. She was very light complexion. She she was sexy to me. I actually got to meet her when I was younger as well. But I never thought that that was a big impression, but it was. But the other one was Adam's Family and Morticia. And I thought she was funny. I love the dry humor, but I thought she was beautiful too. And so I didn't understand that by watching the screen and having those things pulled into my head of what I was as a heterosexual and seeing those women and having all of that entertainment pumped into here at the same time gave me an idea of actually what I thought what was a beautiful woman. That's shadow work, but you have to understand that someone's going to have to ask you that question, and you're going to have to answer that, but you're going to have to go backwards in time. And it was pretty simple. But you have to be willing to think about it. And I want everyone that is out there right now. I know it sounds dumb. You're like, oh, shadow work. Sit around in a circle and ask questions of everyone in that circle that you are close to. If you ask the right question, like, hey, why do you drink whiskey? Or, hey, why do you do this certain thing? Why do you sit with your legs crossed? Why do you write with your penmanship? If you sit around in a circle and you take those questions seriously and stop and go backwards, you'll figure out why you like something if you stop and think about it. Everything is imprinted in your head. That's shadow work. There's nothing crazy or Jungian about it, or I got to go to college to figure this out. It really isn't. You just have to really take the questions super seriously. Ask yourself those questions and find out where they come from. Ask yourself deeply where they came from. But you have to recognize that they come from somewhere. Okay. And if you don't recognize that, if you think that you're some kind of crazy original and your thoughts are unique and the conclusions you come to are simply by your own unique, wonderful experience, and it's not. It always is something that you have to dig into. If you get in one of these groups, and I suggest that you do do lighthearted things first. The lighthearted things are easy. Like, hey, Demolition Man, why do you like this? That's crazy. Was easy because it was fun. Why do I like something? But the next thing should be after that is, why don't you like something? And then that will come to you easier because you found out why you like something, because they're all connected. And it's tough because the things you don't like, or the things you don't like about you, bad habits, will come to you in a story form that then you have to deal with. That's tough. It really is. But I wanted to do this live, let people, um, they talk about nonsense that's in the news and things like that. And I get that. I understand that. I'm a shit poster on X. Of course I am. But I wanted to, I guess, change a little bit and start posting things that might be helpful. Because if this is helpful for anybody to figure out why they like what they like, they could understand why they do not like things as well by doing shadow work. And to me, that's huge, because understanding yourself and understanding how the whole world around you has molded you, and for you to think that you're some kind of unique individual that has molded yourself, you're crazy to begin with. And not understanding that there are things that this world makes you believe, like, and love, and there are things that this world wants you to hate all the time. So was that a bad thing that I got propagandized into those or that look of a woman? No, it wasn't. We had a great time with that. I still, to this day, I can't help myself. I love super white women, like a Zoe Deschanel, super white, dark hair, that whole thing. It's just that look that brings me joy. So where did that joy come from? Like I said, it came from a woman doing a show that was light and lovely and made me laugh. So I can't take that out of it. Like, I can't pull that out of my head. I associate those looks with something that made me happy as a kid. So you have to go back and see the same things that make you unhappy, and what was the thing that made you unhappy. Ask those questions. I hope that was helpful. I hope anyone that sees this can kind of go backwards and figure out a lot of things in their life. Ask yourself questions, but you have to do the shadow work. And the shadow work is, what made you like that? What made you hate that? What made you feel like that? And just go backwards. I've got a bunch of stories. I've got a bunch of different life experiences. If anyone ever wants to hear it, I see a lot of things that are on X. Yeah, I'll shit post. I love that because I hate stupidity because there's no thought process, it seems to me, in a lot of things that are out there, especially when it comes to videos that people post. But if you could take anything from all of these postings, just understand that they've never done the shadow work. And it's easy for someone like me to shitpost and make fun of people because it's pretty funny to do it. But you got to remember, I'm doing that because I want to capture those thumbs up, those hearts, those responses, and that makes me feel good. And that goes all the way back into when the internet first started. You would type something up and somebody would give you a response and it made you feel good to do that. But you can't let that kind of stuff change your mind. You got to do the shadow work and figure out why that makes you happy. Why does it make me happy to shitpost? Well, because it's pretty funny. But I remember back in the day that that's what we used to do. I come from a generation where we did your mama jokes. What? Yeah, we would do your mama jokes. Like, your mama is such a crackhead. She's so skinny, she could hang glide on a Dorito. And everyone would laugh. And so you would shit post right in front of somebody. But back then, people had some kind of sense of humor. Right now, seems like that sense of humor is going down the shitter, and rightfully so, because nobody socializes. But you got to ask yourself, where did that come from? Do that shadow work. Anyway, I just wanted to post this because I thought it would be kind of important. Um, I hope somebody gets something out of this. Anyway, what else? What else can we talk about? Oh yeah. So what I'm gonna do also is I do crazy stuff. So I'm not just a shit poster. I actually work for a living. You can see my hands. They are disgusting. Um, but I make things. I create things. I want to put it on a channel that shows people how to do certain things. I'm not like one of those woodworking channels where like I'm a woodworker or I'm a welder or I'm a crazy person because I'm not. But I do a lot of things. I love creating things, and I want, especially this younger generation, to learn how to do things using these crazy things that, yes, God gave here. God gave us these. But there's the oh, there's this is another way to look into that idea of shadow work that you have to ask yourself. So you have a phone, right? And you look at that thing, you go, man, the technology in this is crazy. It's got a brain. Now it really does because it has AI. It's got eyeballs, it's got earballs, it's got everything that you can think of. You can search, do all kinds of things. You go, man, the technology in that is crazy. And it is. The problem is nobody does the shadow work just on something simple like that. Think about a phone and how insane the technology is that's wrapped up in it that you could do, and then say to yourself that, did somebody create this? This is crazy. Do the shadow work on just a cell phone, because if you don't do the shadow work just on a cell phone, you can never look at this and go, wow, this is amazing. It just came out of the middle of nowhere and didn't have a creator. This thing is nothing compared to this thing. As organic as you think this is crazy organic, dude. We have memory. We have eye peepers that are the same as cameras that flash those memories in our head. They make us speak the sounds that we bark out, like I'm doing now. And to think that you know for a fact this has a creator, and then for some reason don't think that this doesn't have one, is a little weird. But that being said, I'm a creator. I love making things. I use my hands. I'm a woodworker. I'm a welder. I do refurbishing, custom things, and I want to push that out to people, and I want to do that in the future if I have time. I'll try and do that if there's certain things that you want to see, then I'll do them. But I really want to show people how, especially the younger people, because I don't get a lot of people that are around me because I'm a loner, Dottie, a rebel. That, like when I was younger, I would ask questions of how did you do this? How do you do that? How do you, I would focus on watching somebody using something to create something and sit in the background. If I had to ask a question, I would. But I've acquired so many skills now after, whew, man, I guess over 30 years of experience, and I do crazy stuff for cool people that have a lot of money, and it's kind of fun. And I wouldn't mind showing younger people how to do things and the reason that they should, because AI is going to group screw everyone, especially if you don't understand how to use your hands. And I want people to understand how to use their hands. Now, I know this is the crazy part. I am not made for video, but I can try and teach younger kids how to do things that they could use their hands and make things. And I hope that people out there reach out to me and ask me how to do certain things. I'm going to put some videos out, but I guess this is the most important part, is to understand that shadow work of yourself and to understand that you will never be successful ever if you don't understand yourself, and understanding yourself makes you prepared. And the reality is that success is only being fully prepared for opportunity that comes to you, and it will, because you're successfully being yourself. And if you can't understand that part of you, you can't be successful. It means you're downtrodden on yourself. It means you're weighting yourself down with horrible things about the things that you don't understand about yourself. But you have to understand yourself, and you got to understand that things come to you when you're younger that build you when you're older. And if you don't understand how you've been built, you have no idea how to fix anything. So, anyway, I just wanted to put that out there because I thought it was important. And I wanted to start putting other things out here in the future. So, if you want to see some lessons on how to make things, create things, let me know. If you want to hear more stories, because I've got tons of them that pertain to the world today, like how to do shadow work, I will also be very happy to share that with everybody. And all right, well, if you will, have yourself a great day. And yeah, be good. Let me know, man.